Now you're ready to learn how to properly hold your guitar and strum it. The first thing you want to think about is comfort with holding your guitar. You want to make sure that your posture is staying nice and straight. It is easy to get a little comfortable and leaning over your instrument, but you can start to cause some problems in your back. So just really concentrating on your shoulders being relaxed and your back nice and straight. And you hold the guitar with the body kind of centered over you, and then your dominant hand will do the strumming. So if you're right-handed, you'll hold it this way with your right hand at the body and your left hand at the neck. If you are left-handed, you will be the other way. Your left hand will do the strumming over the sound hole and your right hand will be holding the neck. I'm going to be doing right-handed. When you're holding your guitar, you kind of hold it up against your body, and then you want to make sure the neck, it doesn't have to be like this because you need room for your arm to extend a little bit. It's okay if it's angled. And you just find a nice comfortable spot for you. And it will pivot a little bit as you start making chord shapes. And chord shapes are where your fingers touch the strings on different frets. When we get into that, just make sure you're watching your wrist. You don't want to be having your wrist super crooked and bent. That will really start to hurt your wrist. So just trying to keep it relaxed, but as straight as possible as we get into some of these chords. I'm not even touching any of the strings on the neck. I'm just letting the neck rest in that cradle between my thumb and my pointer finger right now. Just kind of resting it there, so that I can practice on the strumming part. When you're strumming, you're keeping the beat of a song, and then when you start to add in chords, that supports the melody of the song. So for strumming, we have down strums and we have up strums. You can use your fingers or you can use a pick. I'm going to show you those different ways. You can start with your pointer finger. So I'm going to take my finger, and it's the inside corner of my finger, kind of between the pad of the skin and just the very edge of my nail. And I'm going to strike the strings 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, top to bottom, ceiling to floor. And I'm just turning my wrist just a little bit. My fingers are very relaxed. And my thumb is really just supporting my pointer finger. My thumb won't be touching the strings, but I'm almost like I'm just holding something very softly, like a feather in my fingers. So I'm just turning, I'm gonna rest my finger on the 6th string, and I'm just gonna let them kind of fall down. And again, you're hitting them in order from 6, and you can go slow. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can just start like that, where you're pushing down on the string over the sound hole. You don't want to be too far up here. You want to be more where the tension is just right over that sound hole. And just keep practicing, starting at 6 and pushing down. It'll eventually get nice and smooth. It's very normal at first for your finger to get sticky, kind of not go down smoothly, and that's fine. That takes practice. Give yourself some grace. It takes a lot of time. Walk around your house just strumming down, practicing that. So that's with your pointer finger. I like to use my thumb, and you're going to use the outside of your thumb, that padded area. And very similarly, I'm going to relax all my fingers. I'm going to start with my thumb on the 6th string and just push down. And if you want to start slow, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And do it again. And each time, try to go a little bit quicker. And then the faster you go, you start to push a little less, and then it becomes smooth. pointer finger, thumb, and you can also use a pick. When I first started, I just went to a local music shop and said, I have no idea what kind of pick to get. What do I get? And they handed me these. So this is what I use, and it was a pack of a whole bunch of them. Now, I tried with a pick at first, and I personally prefer my thumb. I am the kind of person where I pick up a pen in my classroom and then I set it down and can't remember where I put it, but I can never misplace my fingers. So my personal preference is not to use a pick, but you might really like it. There's a very different sound between your fingers and a pick. So you just find your preference. When you're holding the pick, I was taught to put kind of that straight part of your pointer over the bottom of the pick and then curve your pointer. And on the back, you have your thumb. Now this is sticking out a little too much. You just want a little bit sticking out there. And then my thumb is gripping that, and it's not super tight. It's, again, kind of loose and fluid. And same thing, I'm gonna start on the 6th string, go down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you'll hear it's louder, it's a little bit of a stronger sound than your thumb or than your finger. So just practice each of those and figure out what's most comfortable for you. You can always change it. Maybe you want to start with a pick and then move to your pointer. Maybe you want to start with your thumb and then move to a pick. Totally up to you. But those are all different ways to strum down. When we strum down, we go from string 6 all the way down to 1. When you are reading a song with the strumming pattern on the paper, it'll have a D written down for down. That's a down strum. A lowercase d means it's just a regular down strum. And if it's an uppercase D, that means you're gonna push harder. It's gonna be a louder down strum. So this is kind of the difference in that sound. So you can have a softer down strum or a harder down strum. Then we have our up strums. So when you go up, you are only gonna strike 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, but you do not have to strike all of the strings coming up. If you're using your pointer finger to down strum, you just pivot your wrist a little bit and use the other side, the outside of your pointer finger to strum up. So for example, if I'm strumming down, I would just pivot. And then I like to use, and this might be a little more complicated, but it's just something that naturally started happening for me. I use my thumb to go down and my finger to come up. And I'm just, again, using this part of my pointer finger. Or if you have your pick, same thing, you would just strum down and then kind of flick those bottom 1, 2, and 3, maybe 4. And you'll see it's just my wrist that's moving. I'm not doing this big forceful movement through my elbow. You'll see in the how-to guide on page 7, there's some strumming patterns, and I'm gonna do a separate video for you to be able to practice those different patterns. This is really just to get you started in understanding what strumming is and how to even do it. Happy strumming!